Welcome back, hackers. Today we're going to install and set up Kali Linux on VMware Workstation Pro. This video is part of the OffSec Dojo series, which is all about building the greatest offensive security home lab. But if you're just looking to install Kali Linux without the whole lab thing, that's perfectly fine too. This video will be enough for that. I'm going to help you set up a professional dual network configuration that works for both lab environments as well as real-world security testing. So enough with the theory and overview, let's get started with the practical hands-on stuff. Since we have already installed VMware Workstation Pro, we just need two things to get started. 7-zip and Kali Linux VM itself. So first things first, let's open our browsers and install 7-zip. Go on to Google and search for 7-zip. Click on the official website from 7-zip and then click on the download link which downloads the 64-bit version of the Windows executable. Now let's go ahead and download our actual Kali VM configuration file. So go on to Google and search for Kali Linux. Open the first link kali.org and click on download. We can see that there are multiple ways to install this, but we are not going to waste any time with the ISO files and manual partitioning today. We are going for the virtual machines section since we're building this in VMware. You can notice clearly that it mentions there that the default credentials for this virtual machines, pre-built virtual machines, is username Kali and password is also Kali. Since we are going to be doing this in VMware Workstation Pro, let us grab the VMware download file. This is a pre-configured, optimized, and ready to roll version of the Kali Linux made specifically for VMware Workstation Pro. The download is going to take a while, so I'll be skipping ahead. With the download now finished, you are free to close the browser window and go onto your Explorer and into your downloads folder. Double click on the 7-zip installer file to install 7-zip onto your computer. With 7-zip installed, right click on your Kali VM file and go on to 7-zip and click on extract here or extract to a folder. Wait until the extraction process is completely done. Once it's done extracting, you can close your Explorer and launch VMware. We can now see three big buttons on the screen. We are going to click on the middle one, open a virtual machine. Now navigate to your downloads folder or wherever you have extracted the Kali Linux virtual machine and click on the VMware virtual machine file. Now stop right there. Before we power this on, we need to talk about some important settings related to networking and the virtual machine itself. Click on Edit Virtual Machine Settings to open up the settings window. The first section is going to be memory. It will be by default set to 2 GB, but we are going to need more than that. So we'll be bumping it up to 4 GB. As for processors, we are going to have two processors and two cores. Next up, we have storage. We are going to leave it to defaults. We're not going to mess with anything over there. Now the important part is network adapter. By default, you have one adapter set to NAT. This gives your VM internet access through your host machine. This is perfect for internet access and updates and stuff like that. But we are going to click add and select network adapter and set this second one to host only. Let me explain to you exactly why we did that. When I designed this home lab, I was focused on creating isolation without losing utility. In this entire home lab, the only machine that has access to internet and has dual network adapters is our Kali virtual machine. First, we have the NAT adapter. It allows your Kali VM to access the internet using your host's IP address, but it keeps your host hidden from the virtual machine. The NAT adapter is essential, but it is not where we get our hands dirty. Next up is the host-only adapter that we just created. This is the heart of the dojo. It creates a completely isolated subnet that only exists inside your computer. When we set our vulnerable targets or our vulnerable virtual machines to host-only mode, they will be able to talk to each other and to our Kali machine. But as you can see by the red cross over here, they have zero access to the home Wi-Fi or the internet. That means you can throw the nastiest exploits at your targets in the dojo without any of that traffic ever touching your actual home Wi-Fi or your router. So basically, to summarize, our Kali Linux has two network adapters, one to access the internet and the other to interact with the isolated subnet. Now there's one more important step that we must take before we boot into the operating system. And even if you did boot into it at this point, it's not a big issue. You'll probably see some bugs like invisible cursor or improper inputs or something like that. So if you encounter any of these, then make sure you do this step. Click on the button that says upgrade this virtual machine. Okay, once you click that, click next and select the latest version of VMware Workstation Pro from the drop-down menu. Once you do that, click on the next button and now select alter this virtual machine and then click next. Click on finish and you're done upgrading this virtual machine. Now you're free to boot into the VM. Click on power on this virtual machine and you can ignore that pop-up and click OK. If you are using VMware for the first time, then let me tell you this thing. So you can transfer your input, your mouse cursor from your host OS to virtual OS by clicking inside the virtual machine or by pressing Ctrl G. And to get your cursor outside of that virtual machine and into your host OS, you need to press Ctrl Alt. We are now at the login screen of Kali virtual machine. By default, the login credentials are set to Kali as username and again Kali as password. So put those in and click on login. Congratulations, you have successfully booted into Kali Linux virtual machine for the first time. Once you are at the desktop, the first rule of any new install is to update everything. So launch your terminal by pressing Ctrl Alt T or pressing the terminal icon from the top taskbar and then run the following command to update and upgrade all of your installed software and dependencies within your guest OS. So the command is sudo apt update ampersand sudo apt upgrade -y. After pressing enter, you will be prompted to enter your password. Type in Kali and then press enter. You will not see the password that you are entering, so it's not a bug. Keep that in mind. Don't worry if you don't see anything. Now this is going to take a lot of time, around 15 to 30 minutes, so I'll be skipping ahead in the video, but make sure you wait and let the updates finish completely. Now that the updates have finished, our Kali Linux is ready for general pen testing purposes. So a quick heads up, if you just wanted a working Kali VM for general use, you are done. This video officially ends for you right here. However, if you have been following with me on the OffSec Dojo series, stay put. What we are about to do next is the foundation for our entire Homelab infrastructure. In order to make our lab easy to manage and easy to navigate through, we are going to standardize our IP addresses. To do this, there are a few specific steps that we need to follow. Click on the Edit button on the top menu bar and then click on Virtual Network Editor. As you can see, VMnet 1 is our host-only network and the VMnet 8 is our NAT network. Select VMnet 1 and then click on the Change Settings button in the bottom right. That will require administrative privileges to execute. Another window will pop up. You're going to see three virtual networks, VMnet 0, VMnet 1, and VMnet 8. We are going to concern ourselves with only the VMnet 1 and VMnet 8. Click on VMnet 1 and then on the bottom left in the Subnet IP section, clear that IP address and put in 10.10.0.0 and then click on apply or click on OK. This will allow our host-only network to be at the 10.10.0.0 subnet. Next, I want you to click on the VMnet 8 and once again change its subnet IP. But this time, put it to 10.10.1.0. So there is a little small distinction between the host-only network and the NAT network. This will essentially allow us to identify at a glance on whether our target machine is present inside the host-only network or in any unintended networks. Now click on OK and you should be good to go. Now in order to verify whether our settings have taken effect or not, we are going to run a simple test. Type in IP space A and you should be able to see three network adapters. The first one, labeled LO, is your loopback IP address. The next one, labeled as ETH0 or ETH0, is our primary network adapter that is using the NAT network adapter from the VMware. So this is going to be our primary way to access the internet from within the Kali Linux virtual machine. Next up, we have ETH1, ETH1, and that is our host-only IP address. You can tell at a glance that which one is our host-only IP address and which one is our NAT IP address. Big thanks to the little setup that we did just now. So you can see the IP addresses over here that 10.10.1.128/24. That is our NAT IP address because that is on the 10.10.1 subnet. And the next one, the each one is running on 10.10.0.128. We know that is our host only IP address because we set our host only IP address to use the 10.10.0 subnet. So I hope that you are able to understand the reasoning behind our previous setup. To ensure that everything is working as intended, we are going to run a ping test. So first type in ping space 10.10.1.1 and hit enter. And you will be able to see packets returning. Uh, that means that our machine is able to communicate with devices inside of that subnet. And after that, type in ping space 10.10.0.1 and then hit enter. Once again, we are able to see packets returning from our target machine. So that means that our machine is able to communicate into both the dot one and dot zero subnets. So as of now, we have successfully finished setting up our Kali Linux with a dual network adapter setup. So congratulations, your virtual machine can now reach the internet for tools and updates and stuff like that, and it's also perfectly positioned to strike the targets hiding within the isolated subnets inside of our dojo. And we are going to be adding those vulnerable machines in the next video. Thank you for watching so far, and I hope that you found this video useful. There are great things coming ahead for the OffSec Dojo, so stay tuned and do not miss any updates. This is SifrSec signing off.